believe is the best learning educational conference that's available to anybody this summer across the nation. We have a great conference plan for you. It should help you to be your best, no matter what August brings for all of us. I am mostly excited about seeing all of you because it's been such a very long time. Got a little bit of housekeeping for you. Give me a second while I turn on that information so everybody can see what they need. Here we go. First off, attend. This is a come when you can conference. So attend what you can, whatever fits your schedule. We're going to try really hard to record all of the sessions so that we can set them up for people to watch later on as our schedules allow. And please complete an evaluation at the end of each session. This is how we'll document attendance, but it is also how you enter the drawing for door prizes. Later on throughout the day, if you keep an eye on our Twitter feed, you'll get to see some information about the door prizes we have. And at the close of the conference on Thursday afternoon, we will give away some very big prizes: a pocket projector, a Chromebook, and a Chrome tablet. So make sure that you complete those session attendance forms each time you attend a session. There's a screenshot there of the green button you should look for on the web page for the conference. That's how you make sure that you get your attendance in and your name in for the door prizes. For the there are still slots in our workshops on Thursday. The workshops on Thursday are long blocks of time where a PLC team from a school can have an extended planning time with a tech coach and a literacy specialist. A couple of you have already signed up, and you'll get an email from me later today with the details about when your session is and how to get into that. But if you go to the conference webpage, you can find the information you need. So call your team and see if you can't get them to come together for a little planning time, a little work time on Thursday. That's the way the workshop sessions are designed for Thursday, and we still have space for you. There is also, please make sure that if you are a Twitter person, if you're not a Twitter person, let's get on Twitter and join the chats. We're sort of going to have chats throughout on the schedule. And then, of course, keep an eye on everything that's going on in the conference on the chat. Use the hashtag TCSTNT, as in Tuscaloosa City Schools, Tights, and Tech. The latest on the conference information will be available on the web page. There's a shortened link there if you wanted to try to jot that down so that you can get to that information. It is also linked from the City Schools homepage. If you just click through the headline images, one of those is about the conference and also has a link to the conference web page. That's where you go for everything that you need to know for the conference. And with that, let me introduce our keynote speaker for this morning, Brian Rose. I had the great pleasure of being a student with him in some administration courses at the University of Alabama. And from that experience alone, I know him to be someone who is so passionate about student learning, and also everything else in a student's life, making school a place that is welcoming to them and that challenges them and meets their needs, but doesn't accept anything less than their best. And the same thing for his faculty and for the people around him. He really inspires excellence from everybody. He started his work with the city schools as an elementary teacher. He became the STEAM coordinator at University Place Elementary, then became the assistant principal at that school, and is now the principal at Woodland Forrest Elementary. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian, our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Liz. Good morning, everybody. It is great to almost be with you all today. I know when you saw your agenda, though, you had a couple questions. First, Brian Rose is speaking. How many people said no? And question two of the agenda says he's going to talk for an hour. Is that even possible? Question one, how many people said no? Probably a few, but that's a win for me. I am honored to be taking part in this conference, and I do have some things I'd love to share with you. And question two, I promise I won't talk for an hour. I can't. I'm going to give you 15 or 20 minutes of it, so please give me the same. I am excited to speak with you, but first, do me one favor. This is weird to do this alone, make a speech or talk to a screen without any input at all. And I need some of your energy. So let's try a quick example of collaboration this morning, okay? Set the tone for the rest of the day. On the count of three, please unmute your microphones and give me a strong, hearty good morning, okay? You can do it. Don't rely on everyone else. You need to participate. I mean it. I need the juice. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. That worked. That worked. I got it. You're fully awake, and so am I. All right. Now, as I said, I am excited about talking to you today. I'm excited about the next couple of days. I hope you are too. I'm even excited about the upcoming school year. Again, I hope you are too. And just a forewarning, I'm going to use that word excited a lot today when I'm speaking with you. But I will admit, when I say excited, I don't mean in the usual sense of rah, rah, yay, hey, school is great. I can't wait to get back. I'm so excited. The way we normally feel at this time of year. July is typically about joy and anticipation for what's ahead. We've been rested. We're ready to go. But clearly, we're all feeling a little differently this year. I mean excited in this sense now as that scary excited, when you're extremely anxious, but also hopeful. You're engaged, but you're slightly overwhelmed. You're fully present, but not sure about the future. That type of excited. Can't sleep very good at night kind of excited. Permanent knots in your stomach type of excited. And on the surface, I know you're thinking, well, this really just describes stress or fear, right? But I think differently, okay? I think the word that best defines me these days really is excited. And I'm excited because I know I'm about to be challenged like never before. I guess I should say I'm already being challenged like never before. But I'm excited because I know I'm going to have to learn new things often. I'm excited because I'm going to be living outside of my comfort zone every single day. And it's a lot to be at that level every day, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Let me tell you a quick story about what I mean. Years ago, I went to France on my honeymoon. My wife's family, they actually had a country house that we could use, and it was this beautiful, ancient, converted abbey. It's hundreds of years old. It was magnificent, like a little miniature castle way out in the countryside. And her family, they had arranged everything for us. They even left us a car for touring. So, ahead of time, we made 2 weeks worth of itineraries. We're going to take trips to Paris, see Notre Dame, Eiffel Tower, the Louvre. We're going to go down to Burgundy and drink some good wine, Normandy, see the battlefields, and then down south to the famous beaches for a while. So we got in real late that first night. The next morning, we climb in the car, kind of jet lagged and out of it with a stack of maps they left for us. And it's a manual transmission. Neither one of us knows how to drive stick. And don't judge, I just never had one of those cars. All the maps are in French. We don't speak French. So we have this moment of what do we do? This is pre-smartphones. There's no internet. There's no trains or rental cars around. I guess we could have changed our itinerary, just do a staycation for 2 weeks at the country house, lower our expectations to a degree. It's still a trip to France, right? Or you take on the challenge. These are the circumstances we found ourselves in, not what we expected, but it's time you have to make a choice. And really, the only choice is you have to choose to reframe those feelings, the fear, the uncertainty, because underneath, there's still a huge sense of excitement. Can I pull this off? How do I use that adrenaline, the desire to make the outcome I need that I intended? I had all the tools, the car, maps, I had plans. It's just a matter of now making them work for me. I have to get past that fear of the unknown, get past the obstacles to make it easy to give up or lower your expectations. So sometimes it's amazing how that definition of excitement can work for you. It can push you to do things that just a day before you'd have said you couldn't do. So we wound up going everywhere we had intended, and it was amazing. Scary and exciting every day, of course, absolutely, but truly amazing. It's that moment where you realize when you're challenged, you've got to move forward. You've got to go forward. Now, obviously, unfortunately, I couldn't always find forward on the transmission, but, that's not my clutch. I think it was fine when we left. I'm not entirely sure. We were never invited back. But I tell you this story because how I felt on those trips to France every day is a lot like I've been feeling since our closure in March. And maybe you too. Even more so now since we've begun planning in earnest for the return to school. I felt like every day these past few months brings that same sense of challenge, that same type of excitement. I know what I want to do, where I want to go, but there are obstacles every day. That's exciting though. There are lots of moments where it'd be easy to lower my expectations. Every day I get out of bed, it would be easy to do that. It's exhausting when everything keeps changing, but it's also exciting. You know, a lot of people have told me they're bored during the pandemic. It has them feeling unmotivated or listless, disengaged. But I think we're on the opposite end of the spectrum, all of us in this group. I'm in a constant state of excitement. And as we get nearer to school opening, this is only ramping up. And that's because we're being tasked with creating school experiences that never existed before. And that's exciting. We're reimagining or recalibrating the way we teach. That's exciting. We're being asked to plan for things that we don't fully understand and for scenarios that may or may not even happen. Exciting. Oh yeah. And we're the ones being tasked with saving our students' lives. That's exciting. And maybe I'm exaggerating a little on that last one, but only a bit, because it's us. We are helping, restoring, fixing, however you want to phrase it, saving their lives to a certain extent by continuing to help them learn, help them grow, help them navigate this new world. We're the ones providing a sense of normalcy, a sense of continuity, a sense of community, hopefully a sense of safety too. That is a lot. Remember, what we do is important and noble work. You know, no disrespect at all to the healthcare workers out there taking care of everyone. They're truly amazing people. But honestly, when this all first started, we were the first responders, right? We were the ones reaching out in person to every single one of our families to make sure they were okay. We were the ones that made sure the meals were served, that the counseling and social services continued, and crucially, the learning continued too. We were on the front lines. We didn't have time to freak out or panic. While the rest of the country was watching, we were busy doing. And we haven't stopped. We've stayed on the front lines. And we're going to remain there because that's what we do. You know, I think Dr. Daria, he needs to put up those heroes work here signs in front of our schools. I mean it. It's got to be room in the budget for that because that's what you all are. I mean, what do heroes do? They rescue, help people in need. And there's absolutely no doubt our students, our families need us now more than ever. Teaching children is complex work. You all know that. Even under the best of circumstances, it's incredibly difficult to do it well. Now we're in a pandemic. And oh yeah, in the midst of great social upheaval too. This is hard work in hard times. And on a side note, I think finally every one of our parents knows now too. No more holdouts. They all know how hard it is to teach their children and care for their children the way we do. No, they can't wait to get these kids back to us. And that's because our students have so many needs. And school, that's it. It's the only place that can really even come close to meeting most of them. But it's hard work. They're going to come back to us with all kinds of new traumas and concerns. So we have to become excited about that challenge too, about meeting those individualized needs. They're specific to the child. Take my son, Max. And that's actually an invitation. Please, somebody come and take him. He needs a break from me and I need a break from him. Take my son, Max. He's 15. He's autistic. He's nonverbal. He likes coloring, swimming, Disney movies, and being naked. Sometimes all at once. But those are his interests. That's about it. Plus, he's bored out of his mind. He's been quarantined at home for the past 4 months. So I have to wonder, who's excited about him? Who's going to meet his needs when he comes back? Who's going to help him continue to learn and grow? Who's already thinking about and planning for him to come back to school? But you know what? Because he's mine, I'm excited, but I'm also excited by those questions. Again, same definition as before. I'm excited because somebody in this audience today, somebody in one of your groups, somebody could today, they could do it. They will do it. Someone's going to read his IEP, look at the standards, maybe watch a little Disney, and this will somehow all get synthesized into him learning math facts by, I don't know, coloring naked princesses with swim goggles on or something like that. I don't know. He's a puzzle, but it is possible. And that word possible is everything right now. Everything. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. But I want to say I'm excited because I know one of you could do it. I know one of you will do it. Now, Max is an extreme example. I know that. But every one of these kids is going to come back to us with specific needs that have been exacerbated by our current situation. And that's why we're really here today and tomorrow and the next day. The needs must be met. The learning must continue. And you know what? I'm excited because we want it to continue. Not just for our students, but for us too. You know, nobody has to be here today or the next day. These aren't mandatory classes. There's no required learning. And yet, here you are, despite everything that's happening around you, despite everything that's happening to you. You're here because you're true educators. You believe in that word, educator. You're interested in all that it means, the dedication, the aspiration. Like me, you know, it's not an occupation, it's a vocation. What we're doing here, this is a community. It's a community of like-minded people. We're here because we want to be. We're excited. We enjoy research and reading. We want to discover new ways to use and integrate technology. We want to examine and analyze our grading practices. We care about bolstering our knowledge of attending to social, emotional learning. The folks at this virtual conference, they aren't the why do we have to group. They're the how do we do it group. You all are the how do we do it better group. The how do we do it better in the face of a pandemic group. So for the next couple of days, let's feed off that shared sense of excitement. Let's feed off that sense of this is the people I like to collaborate with, that I can collaborate with. We're going to collaborate because that's what we do. We're going to explore, try new things. We're going to plan with each other and play with each other, grow with each other. And importantly, we're going to take care of each other. The situation calls for it. It demands it. And how do we take care of each other through all this? By focusing on the excitement, not the fear or stress, the excitement that's inherent in learning new things and by being challenged. We need to be excited by each other and for each other right now. That's how we're going to take care of each other. That's how we're going to be successful. I want you to think of the situation we find ourselves in right now actually as an incredible opportunity that we have in front of us. There really is a silver lining to this pandemic. And I'm not just talking about getting to watch the entire Tiger King documentary, although that was fun, or working in your pajamas for a couple of months. Actually, what this crisis has done, it has sped everything up. I'm talking about that wave we all knew was coming, the education wave of technology integration, project-based learning, interdisciplinary units, overhauling grading, changing the way we think about the collection of evidence that signifies student learning. Those kind of ideas, big ideas, important ideas that we've been reading about and exploring in some areas, practicing to some degree, believing to a certain extent. That tide has been coming for a while now. But only certain people, certain pockets of people have been riding it. Now, you can't help but ride it. We're in it. We have no choice. Well, incredibly, this wave has pushed forward a golden opportunity for us. We have an opportunity to redefine on the most basic and fundamental level what best practices are. That's exciting. Even better, we're doing it collectively in real time. Over the next few days, we can make a lot of headway in that area. Again, we're doing this because the circumstances call for it, demand it, and because we want to. That's a great combination. When you get the desire and the need meeting up, that's opportunity. I hope you can look at it this way. The work you're going to be doing over the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, that's going to put TCS far ahead of any plan or pace that we had previously set. We've been forced to. This is like President Kennedy's moonshot scenario. And you got to forgive me, I'm from Boston, so it's always going to come back to JFK somehow. That's just the way it is there. But let me give you a little context, okay? His moonshot speech, a really famous speech, occurred while the U.S. was in a Cold War with the Soviets, right? But Sputnik had just happened. So suddenly everything changed. Clearly, it was time for new goals, new plans right away. All those great ideas and speeches about the future had to suddenly become about the present. And that's what I mean about the TCS plan. We knew where we were headed, what we wanted to accomplish, the practices and the programs that would eventually be put in place. But now circumstances have changed that plan, that pace. Future ideas suddenly have to become present actions. Kennedy's famous quote is this. He said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." And here's the important part, and I promise it's related. He said, because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. Let me repeat one part of that because I think it really bears repeating right now and directly relates to what we're going through. He said that goal, setting that goal, will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that's a challenge that we're willing to accept. Organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. I know what you're thinking. You're no John Kennedy. That line's been used before. I know what you're also thinking. We're not going to the moon. I know. But that idea of being challenged, of forcing ourselves to be great in a time of crisis, is relevant and real. Like he said, the goals we set now will determine how we use our collective knowledge and skills. If we're not willing to lose this challenge, then the goals we set now will reflect that. Do we believe we're capable of teaching children during all this? Are we capable of doing it effectively? Do we believe we can still innovate and grow despite the current constraints? I mean, seriously, this is a goal-setting gut check right now. Are we simply going to get through this, do the best we can under the circumstances? Or do we believe in that moonshot that we'll do even better than the best we can because of the circumstances? Which brings me back around to what I mean about being challenged, being that scary, excited, how it can be a good thing, how we can use it. It forces your hand. It pushes your goals onward and upward. For a quick example, last year at Woodland Forest, we set goals like everyone does, and we set goals in regards to STEM education and technology integration and competency. But honestly, they were modest goals, mostly exploratory, foundational goals. And to set goals, you need a baseline. I started with teacher observations and surveys to get a better understanding of the attitude and aptitude around the school. And what I learned is that I had a lot of talent in my building, but also I had these pockets of extreme innovation. Teachers that were already doing some really cool stuff and had some really sharp ideas, but they were working in isolation to a degree. It's not that they didn't want to help others or showcase their stuff. It's just that there weren't a lot of opportunities for them to share their knowledge or demonstrate their skill sets for other people. So we put these innovators together into a team, a super group to riff, play off of each other. These are exciting people. We know that they're going to infect each other with great ideas and their own personal growth goals. And then we can release them into the school to spread those goals and that excitement around. The results were predictable, right? Our technology comfort level, our knowledge, integration, practices that went through the roof, exploded. And when we had to go fully virtual in March, that group was more than ready. They kicked ass. This group wasn't going to hand out worksheets and learning packets. Trust me, they went to the moon. It really made me think about how I'll set my goals moving forward. Do I set them at what's probable, or do I set them at what's possible? And this is more than simple semantics. It's about letting people rise to the occasion and at the same time really setting goals that force people to rise to the occasion. Not because it's easy, but precisely because it's hard. We can meet any challenge. I've seen it happen. I watched my own people do it in March. And many of those people will be your presenters over the next few days. They're catalysts. And so are you. That's the important part. We have a lot of catalysts in this system, a lot of excited people. That's why you're here today. And that's why you're here over the next few days to collaborate, and work together. Be those catalysts together. Be those people that are not settling. Be those people that are moving onward and upward, rising to the occasion, rising to the challenge. I'm going to close with this. Right now, we're faced with a great challenge. This disease and all its ramifications and repercussions. Our community, our system, and our students have been profoundly affected. They need us right now. They need us at our best. It's a great challenge, but it's also a great opportunity. Look at it that way. So as we learn with each other over the next few days, and as we plan with each other over the next few weeks, let's work towards the outer edge of what is possible. Let's take advantage of this opportunity. You know that expression. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Super cliche, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But think about it. Right now, we've got to take shots. I ask you all, take shots. Think differently. Push. Please. They need us. Think of moonshots. Don't lower your expectations. Rise above them right now. Be excited by the work that you do. Take that fear, that uncertainty, that stress, and underneath it, there's still that sense of excitement because it's making you rise to a level that you never have had to before. Bring this work and these ideas back to your schools. Spread it around. Inoculate your population against that sense of fear with your commitment, and more importantly, with your excitement. We accept the challenge, and we intend to win. Thank you for listening to me today. Good luck in your learning and your planning, and really have a great week. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Brian. Could not have launched us in a better way. First session start at 10. Lots of great stuff to choose from today and tomorrow, and some workshops to fill for Thursday. Have a great conference, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Great job, Mr. Rose.